what is Stake?
Very simple. Stake is a digital real estate investment platform that allows anyone from anywhere in the world to invest in Dubai real estate in 3 minutes, starting from 500 dirhams on an app. That's the elevator pitch. That's what we tell people. It's literally as easy as shopping on Amazon. Download the app, choose which property you want to invest in. Starting from 500 dirhams, you own a piece of Dubai and you earn monthly income. That's it. That's as simple as it gets. As we're based in the IFC, regulated by the DFSA. And just to kind of take a step back and kind of give you what the product actually means. So people from around the world, you know more than anyone. Everyone wants a piece of Dubai. They don't know where to start. Do they buy off plan? Do they buy ready? Where do they go? And I just quick background on myself. I've been in Dubai now for 19 years. All I've done is real estate, 7 days a week. You know how it is, 24 hours a day. Work for some of the top developers here. But I always noticed that there was a mismatch. This part of the world, people want to invest in real estate, but they don't know where to start. It's not affordable. It's not transparent. I'm sure you've dealt with a lot of brokers that oversell and overpromise, and that was, the world that I came from. I saw that happening every day. So how do you create a platform that allows people to invest in property that's transparent, that's fractional, that's easy to use, and that's digital? And that's why we launched Stake.
That's fantastic. So thank you. My next question was going to be the why, right? Or why did you launch Stake? And I appreciate that. Now, because I was around, in your early in your journey, and I remember some of the challenges that you're going through. Right now, we'd love to hear a little bit more from you. If you were to segment these challenges, right? One is product, right? So you have the concept of saying I want to fractionalize it. So how do I deliver a truly? And your experience is unbelievable. Like literally within minutes, somebody can own a piece of real estate in Dubai, right? And that, congratulations, phenomenal. But your journey from 0 to 1 to building that great product, right? After that, we want to talk about the challenges, i.e. regulatory, that you went through to pull it off.
Yeah.
And then I want to talk about your go-to-market and how you achieved that great success.
So I'll start off with how we kind of came up with the idea and then the challenges of actually executing. That for me was kind of the hardest thing for us. We're 3 co-founders. Luckily enough, we found our 3rd co-founder who, in my opinion, took the business to the next level, which is our CPTO, who heads product and tech. Because my other co-founder, Manar, I've known him for 25 years. He's the finance guy. I'm the real estate marketing guy, and then we needed a tech guy. We didn't know what to build. So when we found him, that really solved a lot of problems for us because I think that's key. You need someone who is a co-founder that understands technology. But then we're a regulated business. So when you are selling people, we like to say we're selling real estate, but the regulator says you're selling a financial product. So that's kind of where we become a prop tech and a fintech, because at the end of the day, what we're selling is retail investors the opportunity to own real estate, but they don't own it directly because you have to set up a special purpose vehicle, which is an SPV based in the IFC. So the way it works is, how do we get hundreds of investors onto a title deed? We set up a company in the IFC that then owns the property. So everyone gets share certificates into the property, and then the title deed comes out in the name of the SPV. So in order to do that, you're labeled as a financial product. So imagine going to the regulator and telling them, hey, we want to launch this business, and how do you regulate us? And just going through that, motions of getting them to regulate, because you're dealing with 2 parties. You're dealing with the Dubai Land Department, effectively, because they regulate everything that has to do with real estate. But then you're also dealing with the financial regulator, which is the DFSA. And the challenge of really building a business that suits real estate and the financial regulator was super difficult, because you're having to meet 2 types of kind of regulations. And that for us was always the biggest hardship of how do you make sure that, I don't know if you guys know the DFSA, but they're one of the toughest regulators in town. We have to do audits, our marketing is controlled. I'll give you a perfect example. So we have to do KYC on all our investors. And in order to do that, we need to get a proof of address and a passport. If an investor invests with an expired proof of address, and expired means older than 3 months, we get fined over 200,000 dirhams. So you can imagine the KYC document, like process, the tech that we had to build to ensure that every time someone expires a utility bill or a tenancy contract, they get automatically notified on the app, they're blocked out, and they have to fix that.
So, Rami, every time you and I connect, you share a dozen or half a dozen success metrics that always blows my mind. Whatever you're open to sharing right now with the team in terms of, your growth, your phenomenal growth. And the question is, how do you think, what's your secret sauce, and how did you get there so quickly?
So I think one thing that we really focused on is our obviously product and tech. I say this when we were raising money, we just closed, as you mentioned, our Series A round. When we talk to people, whether it's local VCs, international VCs, they said, what's your secret sauce? Outside of the fact that we really focused on building a brand, and I think fintechs tend to not do that. They think the product sells itself, but when you're selling real estate and you're selling an investment product, a brand is very important. And if you look at, if you've heard of Stake, we're very particular about our branding, the way we speak, our tone of voice, our colors, and just we're very aggressive in our branding, but in a good way. So we educate people. I think that sets us apart from a lot of other fintech players. They tend to think, oh, the marketing is not important, it's more product, but I completely disagree. So that's one thing that we really focused on. And I'll get into the metrics of that. But second thing is we really built the most advanced real estate investment platform in the world. And I say that with full confidence because when we look at other competitors around the world, I'll give you a company in the US called Arrived Homes, funded by Jeff Bezos and Mark Bianoff from Salesforce. The CEO reached out to us on LinkedIn and he's like, guys, I just want to tell you something. We've tried your app and it's unbelievable. And we're like, okay, wow, this is coming from one of the biggest platforms in the US. And when we looked at their platform and we looked at what we did, the reason why we were forced to build such an advanced platform is because Dubai allows you to onboard investors from anywhere in the world. So when you're in the US and the UK and Europe, you have a lot of limitations to who you can onboard. You only have to be a US citizen or a resident. But for us, we can onboard literally anyone. And that forced us to really build something. So imagine someone literally sitting in Hong Kong today, can download Stake, own a piece of Dubai, get the documentation, all within 3 minutes. So we really focused on building the best product. And that's really helped us. When you look at our reviews online, everyone's like, oh my God, this was as easy as shopping. This was as easy as ordering something on Deliveroo. And we really, really focus on that. Our tech and product team is the best out there. I'd say that hard, hand on heart. In terms of metrics, I'll give you some of the cool things. So over 200,000 transactions have happened on our platform. When you think of that, that's people that could have never afforded real estate or could have afforded real estate, but they've done that on an app. And that's something we're really proud of. But more about that is over 204 nationalities from 192 countries have invested on Stake. So when you look at our map, we always look at our heat map. And I'm always looking, okay, where's the money coming from? It's just crazy because it's just so diverse. Our user base is so diverse, which enables us to then scale to other parts of the world. So, those are the kind of the metrics that keep me up at night. Okay, how many more nationalities we're getting? What is the transaction? What is the average order value? We have people who are Emirates Airlines hostesses that are putting 500 dirhams every month. And I'll tell you, here's a crazy story. I put it on LinkedIn, so I don't know if you saw this. So I was speaking to a VC trying to raise money. This was around 4 months ago. And he's like, Rami, I have a crazy story for you before we start. I said, what? He's like, so I land in Mauritius with my wife, I get out of the airport, and I get in a cab. I'm in the cab, we're talking with the cab driver, and he's like, what do you do for a living? I said, oh, I'm living in Dubai, I invest in startups, I invest in technology. And the cab driver is like, oh, I know Dubai, I love Dubai a lot, I'm actually an investor in there. So he's like, what do you mean? He's like, I'm a real estate investor. He's like, how? He takes out his phone, gives it to him, and he has a Stake app, and he owns a piece of Dubai. I mean, that for me was mind-blowing. I mean, a taxi driver in Mauritius owns a piece of Dubai real estate, and he's proud of it because of Stake. So that's like the aha moment for me. How many people out there around the world want to own a piece of this beautiful city? So yeah,
that is brilliant. So a question: How does Stake and when and how will Stake go beyond the regional borders? So is there a world, or do you have the vision of saying Stake can not only enable global investors to come invest in Dubai, but it can also invest global investors to invest in places like, Marbella and Istanbul and Miami and Hong Kong?
So one thing that I'll say that's really led us to where we are today is focus. So ever since we started, transacting, we got so much inbound from developers in Hong Kong to Spain to the US saying, guys, why don't you come here? Why don't you come here? And you can immediately do that and then potentially lose focus and not, grow where you are. when we launched the business, one of the things that I've always said is we wanted to be the leading real estate investment platform in the region. And the reason why I say that is because there's a lot of startups that say, oh yeah, we do Dubai. Dubai is a small market, but then I want to go to Europe because it's a much bigger market. The TAM is much bigger. For me, I disagree on one thing. Real estate in this part of the world is huge. I mean, you're looking at this year, there's going to be over 1 trillion dirhams worth of transactions. I mean, when you say that to other people around the world, they're like shocked. So outside of Dubai, where do you go if you want to be the leading real estate investment platform in the region? Saudi Arabia. And there's just so much depth to this market. You know, a lot of people say, oh yeah, but the US is bigger or the UK is bigger. Great, but the beauty of this part of the world is that real estate is still archaic. There's just so much opportunity to go into this market. But to answer your question, once we grow and go deeper into the market in Dubai, we're launching a lot of new products, which we'll announce in Q4, and then really grow into Saudi Arabia. And then you have over 2 million, 3 million, 4 million users. What do you do with these users? Because where I see this is there's one app that you use to invest in stocks. I mean, you don't usually use two apps. You use one app to invest in crypto. So why isn't there one app that you use to invest in real estate? And that's where we see there's a market for. So when you've built this user base, and as I said, we have such a diverse user base, and then you can do partnerships with companies in the US, do partnerships in companies in the UK, and then you can invest in those places from one app. We want people to use our app to invest in those global markets. And when they get used to that's brand, stake, I've done KYC with them, they've paid me income, I'm used to it. Then you can go internationally. So we want to walk before we can run, but yeah, next 2 years is focusing in this region.